So then when you found out that that Fez of Ron and Fez died, did you go into like a deep dive on some Ron and Ron?
Yeah, I really did because I know obviously. So I went to CSB and Bob. You know who that is, right? He used to work in this building, I think.
Yeah, I think we were Facebook friends.
Yeah, so he was at one point part of that show. So he would talk about it, and maybe he even played some audio when I was in class with him. But I just totally missed that era because I was living in Michigan and clearly wasn't listening to Florida radio. So I started seeing some of the compliments and the things that people were saying about Fez. And it was really those compliments regarding radio that I just was like, what is this guy all about? Yeah. A lot of people tweeting his dedication to the bit and just, he was just a lot of things that intrigued me. So I listened to some, I don't know if I went that far back. I listened to a fair amount of Ron and Fez,
right,
which I think was from the Sirius days, I think 2013-ish.
Sounds right.
And I really enjoyed it. I thought that, I see a little bit of kind of the stuff that we do when we can take something and turn it into hours worth of entertainment when it might have been nothing on the surface. I see a lot of that in that show, and it made me, I'll be almost sad that I missed out on that era of Florida radio because it is pretty damn funny.
It was an interesting era. I liked Bennington. I liked his edge, and I liked his comedy, and I loved Fez. Hated Malibu Mo. My God, no, just kidding.
I spent almost an hour and a half listening to this one segment yesterday morning where it was. And they were talking about Twitter, so it wasn't, way back in the day, and talking about how it was the number one trend because Fez accidentally said cake-horn. And I think what he meant to say was he just kept running his pie hole, but he said cake-horn, and they did almost an hour and a half of callers calling in and roasting him for it. Bennington was just piling on. He was getting completely spun out and mad at everybody.
Yeah.
And just great old school radio. So having never met those guys and not knowing much about them, it does seem like he was a cool radio dude.
So I went back and listened to some of the old fights between Ron and Ron when Mo was talking on SBK's show about how he quit basically on the air and was talking about how those guys didn't get along during the end. So I went back and Googled Ron and Ron fight. Man, there were some uncomfortable moments on the air. I love those uncomfortable moments when people fight because I hate them so much when I'm part of them.